Today we're going to talk about the top tier natural 5-star monsters. The best 5 for each element. This is going to be strictly for PvP. Hit the sub button, hit the like button, hit that bell ding-a-ding thing so you know when I post a video. Let's go, baby. Tip of the day. As all tier lists go, the opinions of said content creator are coming from years and years of experience. These are opinions and should be opinions as such. If you trust in the opinion of the said content creator, then please take his advice. If you disagree, please comment below. Everyone has an opinion. We respect everyone's opinion. This is for PvP only. This tier list does not involve PvE. All stated monsters in this video are in general terms for all summoners. There are better monsters for specific summoners, but in general, if you build these monsters, it will help you succeed in PvP. The more you know. Now that we got the disclaimer out of the way, I'm going to tell you the best 5 natural 5-star units for each element. I'm also not including any collab units. Some could debate Garou or Genos, but everyone did not get the chance to get them. These are all monsters that are obtainable through scrolls. Let's start fire and we'll move from the bottom to the top in each element. Number 5, Fire Vampire Rosario. If he is left alone, he will do crazy damage. He has life drain and he's an attack speed based monster. If you could protect him and keep him in the back line, he will do great for you. Number 4, Beast Monk Kumar. He is a frontline secondary healer, but he also has an AoE silence. He removes all harmful effects from a single target while healing them. So he's not your main healer, however harmful effects can kill a team. Removing all harmful effects is huge. Panda Warrior Zhongfei, still a staple, a good provoking frontline tank that has a heal over time to everyone. This is a level 2, mind you. His provoke is on a low cooldown, low mana cost, and if you do use him on Soul Link, his ultimate is huge. Number 2, Oracle Juno. Even with her changes, she is still top tier. Me switching to Cleef, I use her now and it's huge. I beat teams that I shouldn't. She removes all harmful effects from a single target and heals them, and also heals everyone around depending on how many harmful effects she removes. She also has an AoE buff removal, plus whatever skill she uses, she gets mana back from that, being able to either spam her heal or spam her strip or back and forth. Still a very good unit, top tier PvP. And number 1, you know it, Ifrit Tsarion. Defense, break, burns, Oblivion, is a ranged unit. Oblivion is huge against summoners. I'm going to give one notable mention for each element too, because they're all situational. Fire Magic Knight, a star. If you're facing Orbia or any kind of archer or mage, she will go to that back line and target them. She will nuke. If she gets the enemy below 30%, it's gonna be GG one shot. Problem with assassins is that they're squishy, so you gotta have good survivability stats. On to water. Number 5, Chimera Taor. Over the months, Taor has dropped down the list in my opinion, however is still viable. Hard to kill and does great damage. Defense buff to himself and the whole team with the provoke, defense based damage. He's got knockdown and CC, just a very good unit. Number 4, Ifrit Theomars. Yes, Orbia can one-shot through Endure, but if you cannot get through that Endure, it is very dangerous. Again, PvP is situational. That's why he's lower on the list, but still very viable depending on what you're facing. Number 3, Vampire Hunter Espino. Espino does crazy damage, removes buffs on both skills, and very easy to build because of his passive and getting crit rate. For every buff he removes, he does bonus damage. Great backline damage dealer. Number 2, Archangel Ariel. Best PvP healer in the game. Frontline tanky, heals based off of defense, AoE heal with an AoE cleanse and an AoE heal over time, and also a single target heal, giving defense buff up. And number 1, of course, Pirate Captain Galleon. He is the biggest damage boost in the game. I've done a video on what debuffs or buffs give more damage. And his one skill that is an AoE defense break and an AoE attack up to your team is the biggest damage boost you can get. And honestly, you only need level 1. Level 1 is the biggest benefit over stacking levels. Yes, the higher level it is, the better, but really all you need is a level 1. That same skill also decreases cooldowns of your summoners and your monsters by 10%. You just make him tanky, he's a frontline unit, and his AoE range is huge. Notable mention Pioneer Wusa. I feel like the immunity meta is dying off slowly. He is still very viable and very good. A shield with immunity plus heal over time. But we are seeing less immunity, and that's due to how many buff remove monsters we are getting in the game. On to Wind. Number 5 Beast Monk Ritesh. With his recent buff in the latest patch, he's definitely made it in the tier. He is a frontline tank with a provoke and amazing passive, which pretty much counters Galleon. If he's attacked by an enemy with an attack up buff, his damage taken down 25%, and also his cooldowns get reduced. He's not only a frontline tank, but he's also a secondary healer. A single target heal that removes 2 harmful effects, and if one of them is a defense down, then they get a defense buff up. He also has a self heal over time, which is huge to keep him alive. For how strong the water meta is right now, and with Galleons all over the place, Ritesh is a good frontline secondary healer / tank. Number 4 Beetle Knight Suraction. Another amazing tank. He has so much in his kit. If the enemy has defense buff, it replaces it with a defense down. He has an AoE provoke, and when he's attacked, he does AoE damage based off his defense. He also can apply electric shock. He has a team defense buff up of level 2. Very good frontline tank and a good counter to defense buffs, because defense down is the best damage boost that anyone can get. Number 3 Skydancer Chasun. She has moved up in the tier. I've seen a ton of her in Brawl, and I've also seen her in Challenge Arena. Her Fallen Blossom skill can be used through heal block, which is huge, and she has an AoE heal with an attack buff and an extra AoE heal if the HP of your ally is 70% or above. She's moved up because A, team comps are hard to come by. You may want 2 units in your team, but maybe you're lacking an attack buff and a healer. This is where Chasun comes into play. You could use Chasun with like Ritesh or Kumar or Annabelle, putting together the right team comp to help you benefit from everything. Number 2 Panda Warrior Feng Yan. Feng Yan, in my opinion, has always been a staple in PvP and should be considered top tier. With the right team comp and the right build, he is dangerous. If you can build him properly, he will destroy. He's best on non-Soul Link, so he can use both of his skills. Number 1 on the list, Hell Lady Ethna. Again, just like Tessarian, Oblivion is huge. If you can keep her alive in PvP, with either support or just tanky runes, you will benefit from Hell Lady Ethna. She also has a defense down, which is the highest damage boost. She can also steal a buff from the enemy, and she can stun. Amazing unit. Amazing. Notable mention Monkey King Zhang Zhe. He got a buff, he's slowly getting better. But again, he's very situational. You really only want to bring him in if you're either A, facing assassins, or B, trying to protect an archer or a mage. On to the light natural 5-star units that majority of us would not probably see. But if you got them, use them. Number 5, Sir Titius. Giggity. He is a frontline tank who will remove buffs from the enemy. Even when they just attack him, his passive has a chance to remove buffs. He has an AoE provoke. He also increases the level of all beneficial effects on nearby allies, which is huge, it's underrated. Also has a level 2 heal over time to all allies. Has block beneficial effect as well if the enemy does not have any buffs. So with his passive removing buffs and his skill removing a buff, if the enemy doesn't have a buff, it'll apply block beneficial effect. And this is an AoE skill. Number 4, Mermaid Molly. An AoE heal based off her attack and her HP. She also gives all allies recovery received up and damage taken down. Level 1 damage taken down is 30% of the damage taken decreased. She also has a low mana cost, low cooldown, single target shield. But not only that, if you build her with attack speed, her basic attack recovers the HP of the team member with the lowest HP based off of her attack and max HP. This is not damage done. This is based just off of her stats. A great support for your team. The best assassin in the game, Raven Luigi. What's crazy about Luigi is 1, he's not green. 2, he can get off so many skills it's crazy, as long as the right conditions are met. His passive, whenever he is attacked by an enemy, his passive will use Excel Stream 1 time. So on a 14-second counter, usually in the beginning of the match, all skills are off of cooldown. So if he gets attacked early, he will then use Excel Stream. This will attack the enemy twice. If his HP ratio is lower than the target he's attacking, he will apply heal over time to himself and have a chance to stun the enemy. If his HP is higher than the target's, this will decrease the cooldown of 0 shift, which will then he will use this skill doing damage, and again, if his HP ratio is lower than the target, it will apply spell shield to himself, negating 2 hits from a skill. However, if his HP is higher than the target, he will do bonus damage and has a chance to stun again. Now you see these cooldowns are 20 seconds and 32 seconds, and seeing that the passive is 14 seconds, these two skills technically have like a 15-16 second cooldown instead of their 20 and 32, if the HP ratio conditions are met. Number 2, Polar Queen Elsa. Elsa's one of the best supports in the game, decreasing summoner cooldown by 80%, increasing your ultimate gauge, increasing monsters cooldowns by 40%, an AoE first skill that you can put on Despair and Stun, but also increases skill cooldown by 30% and decreases mana by 2 if it's a summoner that's hit. Number 1, Light Oracle Lima. She has literally everything you need for a support. She removes 2 harmful effects, provides invincibility for your team, also gives immunity. If your ally's below 30% health, it gives a level 2 heal over time. She also has an AoE buff removal skill. All of her abilities are able to make a great team comp for your arena team. Notable mention like Chimera Shan, HP based monster, mana regen speed up so you're using soul link skills more. He's got CC, he's got silence, a great frontline damage dealer and manipulator. Last but not least, Dark. Number 5, Dark Polar Queen Lydia. A great challenge arena monster. In Brawl not so much, but still can be good. Whenever a team member gets attacked, she has a 12% chance to get a damage dealt up buff. She has 2 AoE skills, which is huge. And if she has level 3 damage dealt up buff, she will get a bonus of 100% crit damage, which is crazy. Her passive alone with the damage dealt up buff and also on her second skill make it huge. She's number 5 because she needs support to survive. Number 4, Veramos. If you want to make sure you have like no harmful effects on your team at all, and you want someone to crowd control the enemy, Veramos is your frontline bruiser for that. Every 10 seconds, he removes 2 harmful effects, and being frontline, he tends to get the harmful effects. And if he doesn't have any harmful effects, he gets skill acceleration by 30%. Now, when he removes an ally's harmful effects, he will heal the target 22%. His passive doesn't do that, however, his second skill removes harmful effects from allies nearby. His first skill also removes harmful effects. So if you're facing a team that applies a ton, he is like a secondary healer. He also has stun on this skill, and if he stuns the target, his second skill cooldown gets decreased. So 2 AoE skills, this means Despair runes 100%. Number 3, Dark Sky Dancer Wu Yang. She has some survivability with her passive. Anytime she gets attacked from an AoE skill, she gets damage taken down and gets an attack buff. Her second skill can attack a target, and she does bonus damage if she has the attack buff. And her first skill is an AoE heal based off of her attack, and gives herself heal over time. Number 2, Dark Desert Queen Neff. The skills aren't nothing special, except for her first skill attacking a target removing immunity, which is strong. But every time she uses a skill, she applies silence and she applies a defense down. Her one skill is an AoE and the other one's single target. Silence is such a great skill, pretty underrated in my opinion, and defense down is the best damage boost in the game. And the best Dark unit, in my opinion, is Dark Undine Talasha. Even though revives have been nerfed, she is still a good healer that has a revive and probably has the best revive. Her second skill applies heal over time to all allies, revives a monster if they are dead. If a monster does get revived, she gives invincibility to that monster. But if she doesn't res any monsters, then increase the mana by 1. Her first skill is an AoE damage, which on supports that have AoE is another good despair unit. But this also applies skill deceleration to the enemy, level 2, which is good. And also heals a single target on your team, whoever has the lowest HP. So Talasha, again, a secondary healer. And last but not least, the notable mention for Dark is Nikki. Can remove a harmful effect and do an AoE heal on one skill, gives an attack buff to your team, and also attacks enemies in an AoE, despair, and has a chance to apply undead. Her passive also applies undead to the highest attack enemy every 7 seconds. Now undead is very unique because if the enemy heals and doesn't really heal, undead will do damage instead. So either A, the enemy has full health and gets heals, it will do damage, or if you have heal block on your team, then undead will do damage as well. But that's it for today's video. This was requested by viewers, so I'm giving it to you. Technically the best 30 monsters in the game currently, not including collab units. If you like my videos and content, sub, like, ding ding a bell. I'll see you in the next one. Peace!